It is Sunday night.
7 o'clock.
I'm John Pope.
And I'm Ryan White.
And you're watching The Chain Gang.
I feel like that should be around Halloween.
That should, yeah.
But it looks good. It sounds good.
I like it, man. We're playing around with some new technology here. We're kind of like little kids when you get a new toy.
Yeah, it's shiny.
It's shiny.
It's shiny and we want to touch it.
Hey, we got with us a guest tonight.
Legend.
We have my friend and mentor, David Cucci, with us. So thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, glad to be here. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I like the colors he's wearing because it kind of represents the Razorbacks, so I feel like he's going to be all right.
Yeah, he is a big fan, but not of the Razorbacks.
I used to be a big fan of the Razorbacks at one time. It just, I kind of faded out of that phase. But
it's really unfortunate, David.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We can't all be perfect.
I want to be honest with you.
I won't hold it against you.
Hey, real quick, before we get this show started, I'm excited. I'm going to turn back these mics just a little bit.
We're coming in a little hot.
Are we coming in hot? Executive producer, can you hear us?
She don't know.
I
would
ask Bella, but she'll give me the cat teeth.
So we are going to thank one of our sponsors. We want to thank Kaiser Chiropractic.
Yeah, man, he'll get you straight.
He'll get you straight. So thank you, Dr. Kaiser.
Yeah, man.
I am a second-generation chiropractor, so chiropractic is my passion. I had a practice in Kansas City. My wife and I, Shauna, decided to get out of the city. We found Rogersville, and we set up shop here, and we love it. It's a cash practice only, so we want to keep it simple. We just have a flat rate fee for our patients. It brings me great joy to have patients tell me that they're feeling better all over. We not only treat the affected area, but we treat the whole body, the whole person.
So we want to thank our friend and our chiropractor, Dr. Kaiser.
He gets you straight, Rube.
Hey,
take him out.
Big week of Wildcat Sports.
Yeah, it just keeps rolling. I love Rogersville.
You know who I have on the line right now to help us?
Oh, yeah.
I've got Rich Sturts from Rich TV.
Hey, Rich.
Rich, can you hear us?
Yeah, what's happening, guys?
Man, I feel like we've really arrived.
Are you
an applause, Rich?
Can you hear the applause, Rich?
A live studio audience.
I can hear it, man. You guys got a big crowd there tonight.
Yeah, so we wanted to bring you on. Of course, you're covering boys basketball and slamming, and I are covering girls. So let's talk about some Wildcat boys basketball. We're looking good.
Yeah, it's been an exciting couple of weeks. I think we're 8 of the last 9, and so.
Oh wow! Talk a little bit about that.
Exciting times with boys basketball.
Hey, Rich, give the folks a little recap, a little rundown on that big win over Greenwood. How'd they look?
Yeah, it was the edge of your seat, nerve-wracking the whole time, and I think it was really a big defensive. You think more of offense by Mohammed and our team, and it was a big defensive stand by both clubs, and really poor shooting at the free throw lines by both clubs really kept the game close, and our team never gave up. Coach Schaefer was up coaching the whole time, and I think that puts us on the map. I hope we get into the top 10 this week.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to, after that win, you've got to think, that's a statement win for our boys.
They got high profile players in that game.
Yeah, there was more tripods and cameras there than on the chain gang.
Wow, that's saying something.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, it was at least 20 to 25 different people recording and cameras, and it was interesting to see, and we talked a lot about that. And the game kind of went just about like the KC Chiefs game. The emotions at times got in there at the end, and it was very moving. And we had 91 viewers, the most we've had all year in that game.
Oh wow!
And at one time, and we can't let up now. Big game coming Tuesday night against Catholic. Probably one of, if you listen to our kids, one of the biggest rivals we have.
Well, and hey, real quick, speaking of rivalries, of course, we played Mount Vernon in football. That was a huge win for us. And then I watched the game the other night from home where, you were covering the Mount Vernon Rogersville game. Man, it got chippy.
Love it.
Do you think that Mount Vernon?
Yeah, it did. I guess I got the horse in front or behind the cart there. When I was talking about the Casey Chiefs game and the craziness, it was against Mount Vernon. Yeah, it was. That game got very ugly very fast. Both fan bases very passionate, players very passionate. We were at a 20-point lead most of the time, or 15-point lead, and it was the chippiest game I've been to in a long time. I mean, they got me worked up. They didn't like the way we were announcing a little bit. And we weren't trying to say anything disgraceful. We were just analyzing the game.
Hey, you're just a passionate fan, Rich.
Yeah, man.
And what Coach Schaefer said makes some sense. You start beating up people when you add a player mid-season.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of adds to some of that, I don't know what you want to call it, aggressiveness, and people don't think that, maybe thought they could compete with you before. And JD is really taking us to the next step as far as getting our kids interested and ready to play and making up that blank spot we had in rebounding and some offensive scoring.
Yeah, Rich, that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you. So I know the new guy coming in, how does it look? I mean, are they still learning to play together?
Yeah, so the first couple of games there in the Lebanon tournament, we were off and running, and we played Marshfield that first game he was eligible. And, they seemed to click pretty good. And then we got into that game against Jeff City that I called Joplin all night. And then the scoring wasn't there. And the scoring in the first game at home, nerves or whatever, hadn't been there. When I said it's not there, he's still scoring 16, 18 points. So that's a big pickup. I think if they could ever get it fine-tuned between the defense and the offense and turn that switch, I think that takes us to the next level in our championship run to the Final Four, and the state tournament is even better.
Yeah, that's what we got to be. I don't want to look ahead, obviously, but we're gelling at the perfect time.
Yeah, we can gel at all times just perfectly here. Like they've got Catholic, and then we're going down to Hollister to play. But one big thing, guys, we can't forget about is COVID. One out of nowhere we could get attacked again and be in quarantine and change this thing and put it on its head. And so just pray that we stay healthy and out of quarantine until the end of the deal. And
the Rona.
We're really big fans of the Rona on the chain gang.
That's the unknown wild card in all this for all teams, And so it's going to be an exciting run here to the end, and tune in and watch us or come down to the game. And I think Catholic has you got to have a pass to get in again. But
and we're at Catholic.
We're going to finish off the year strong at home, so there's a lot of home games still to come here at the end.
Awesome.
And we're at Catholic, right, Tuesday night.
At Catholic, and then we're at Hollister, and then I think the Final Four games at home. We got the following week is the Big 8 crossover game. We finish out, the last week there with Bolivar and Hillcrest. Maybe I'm one of the Springfield schools. One of the big Springfield schools are coming in, but there's still a lot of basketball to be played and a lot of cheering to be done.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on, Rich. We're excited, man, and good luck Tuesday night. We'll be either there or watching.
We'll be pulling for them for sure.
All right, guys, have fun, and we'll be watching on this side.
All right, thanks, brother.
Thanks, Rich.
Bye. All right. It's good. You've been watching the boys, and ever since, they've been playing well, I thought, all season. And then we add, Jonathan Dunn.
Yeah.
And it's been huge for us.
Heck of a player.
Yep. Girls.
Yeah.
We got to broadcast our first regular season home game.
Because of the Rona.
Yeah, so we played, get this, David, we played a preseason Fair Grove tournament, got quarantined for 2 weeks, got back in time for the pink and white, got quarantined right after that, and so it's just been crazy.
It's been a mess for basically all sports teams for over a year now. I mean, we've witnessed this and experienced this, so we just hope you guys have a good experience and get through this like everybody else.
But the girls came out. We opened our first regular season home game against Hillcrest, and it was 26-3
domination
in that first half.
You love it.
So,
Coach Dishman's he seems to have those girls playing some good ball right now.
he does, and that's what's neat about him and the way he's coaching these girls and how the girls are responding is that he's been playing around with the offense, the defense.
Yeah.
And he came in and, we had the coaches show last Wednesday night where we talked to him. He said he's going to unleash them. And I'll tell you what, they tormented Hillcrest all night. I mean, it was just frustrating for Hillcrest. Awesome. I mean, awesome job by our girls.
And I think it's really cool because we had such an awesome fall season, and it seems to just be carrying over. And now we're having a great winter season.
Yeah. No, it's exciting. I mean, the girls, I think, they play Monday night. They play Catholic Monday night. I'm sorry, Mount Vernon Monday night, which is Mount Vernon's a really good team. So that's going to be a great test for our Lady Cats. But they got a good run right before they start districts. And, I mean, I feel good about where they look going into districts.
Yeah, it's kind of like the college game, right? Like March Madness. If you get a team that maybe they're slow out the gates or they struggle a little bit in the middle, if they start playing well at the end when it really matters, I mean, who knows what can happen?
Yes.
Always.
Yep. Turn my mic down just a little bit.
It's not how you start, finish. Or
Yeah.
Wait, it's how you what?
Yeah.
It's not
It's not how you start. It's how you finish. Yeah. So
Not getting off the blocks, it's just cutting the tape, right?
Or maybe just try to talk to the mic.
yeah. So I mean, it's been awesome. I mean, our girls are doing amazing things. I'm excited to see. I'm stoked about tomorrow night's game.
Yeah.
Me and Slam and Stevie will have coverage tomorrow night at our arena. So come out and cheer on our Lady Cats. It's going to be a good test for them.
Yeah, go support them girls.
Yep. And it's against Mount Vernon. I mean,
the Mountaineers.
I think Mount Vernon's kind of become this rivalry.
You think they're taking over the Catholic spot?
You know what? Ever since we've been in the Big 8, you remember the chain gang night where they were chippy with us, the coaches. Well,
the people up there.
Not the coaches, but the sideline people.
We're going to keep it G.
Yeah, we're going to keep it G. We're going to not. But I mean, I love it. I love those type of rivalries.
Yeah.
David's been in a few of those. I'm sure.
As a player, when you're coming up through that, as a coach or a player, that's what you're wanting. So even though as spectators and people, you're kind of finding all these angles and things good and bad about it, but as a player, you love that suspense and that build up and that hype. It's what keeps us coming back.
I can remember for me in the Big 8, it was always Monette.
Monette, yeah.
I hated Monette.
Mount Vernon for us. Hey guys, if you got a like or a comment, give us a comment about how you think Wildcat season, basketball girls and boys are going. I'm excited.
Hit us up on a like.
Yeah,
share our stuff.
So hey, let's move on to one of my favorite parts of the show.
It's the best part of the show, Pope.
The hometown
That's
furniture athletes of the week. And you want me to announce them both?
Yeah, go for it.
Hey, our hometown furniture athlete of the week this week for the boys basketball team is going to be Cannon Gibson.
What a cool first name.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Cannon.
Not only is a cool first name, that is cool. Not only is that, but he is cool, calm, and collected on the court.
Yeah.
Smooth
operator.
Somebody was commenting. I was reading it.
Focus, Pope.
Here's what's neat about the addition of JD is that Cannon was the one a lot of people focused on to begin with.
Sure.
Now you've got this dual threat. Everyone on our team, are great players, but people not focusing on Cannon so much. And
yeah, it's kind of like, I never played in college because I'm a short white guy, but like you hear coaches talk about some players that they may not have a big stat night, but just because they're on the floor, they make it easier for other people to play or be better scorers or however you want to word it. But it sounds like with our new arrival, his presence is taking presence away from Cannon, which is making him, probably have some more looks, easier looks maybe.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Impact player.
Yeah, and so Cannon, we're proud of you, man. Keep it up. This was a tough award, I think, this week to award it. It was a tough decision, but man, Cannon, you deserve it. We're proud of you.
Keep working.
Right on.
Our girls'
Yeah, man.
hometown furniture athlete of the week is Gracie Kibbe.
Gracie Kibbe.
And
I feel like we've said that name before.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, we did. She was a softball.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
She was a hometown furniture athlete softball player. Well, she won twice.
Is that your first time?
Yeah, she's
I don't know that
have
we've
a
had
tool.
an athlete for two sports.
She's
have
our
we?
first time, two-time
Whoa,
winner.
Nice.
making history.
Gracie, hey, I'm chalk. Someday on Jeopardy, you're going to see who was the first two-time hometown furniture athlete of the week.
Make sure your producers know this for next time.
Congrats, Gracie. Also known as the Goose. If you listen to us, Slam and Stevie calls her the Goose. She commands that team like a general at times, and she is an amazing shooter. So good job, Gracie. Good job, Cannon. We're proud of you guys. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, man. Y'all keep working.
Hey, real quick, I am going to hold on. I was not prepared here, so
We're always prepared.
we're
bro.
always prepared.
What are
so
you talking about?
I want to say thank you, Hometown Furniture.
Yeah.
Also, if you're an athlete of the week, you are also receiving a Green Box photography mini session from our friends over at Green Box. So
Nice.
Gracie gets two. Man, she gets 2 photo sessions.
She may win a modeling job too after all this is over.
Mom and Dad are like, oh, thank you.
yeah.
So
Joe, that's good.
hey, I want to.
I'm excited about this.
I'm
next part. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm super pumped.
I'm really excited about it too, guys. We're starting a new segment, and Ryan and I talked about it. We said, hey, we want to incorporate this guy in our show somehow because he's number one fan of.
He's a super fan.
Super fan. So we're starting a segment. It's called
The 2-minute drill
with
with Burney.
Rick Burney. Rick, you on with us?
I am. You guys don't have very many friends.
Oh, Rick, we have tons of friends, man, but none better than you. So I'll tell you what, when we're at a game and when someone scores a touchdown, first thing I'm doing is I'm looking. But I hear you. I'm just looking for you.
Yeah,
so.
you don't have to. You know where he's at.
Well, it gets harder to hear me the longer the game goes on. That's for sure because the voice is pretty well gone.
Yeah, I've talked to you many a
he's
Monday
hoarse.
morning hey, John, how are you? So, hey, what do you got for us
that's
today, my
it.
friend?
Man, you said that you needed a quote from me, and I got a little quote for you.
Okay.
And R.A. Torrey is the guy.
Mhm.
Says the reason many fall in battle is because they wait until the hour of the battle. The
Oh,
reason why others succeed is because they have gained their victory on their knees long before the battle came. Anticipate your battles, fight them on your knees before temptation comes, and you will always have victory. So, I thought that's what a way to keep going here with ROG Sports, huh? Is keep these kids in our prayers, and that'll help with the COVID too, I think.
oh,
Absolutely, and I think that's amazing. I love that quote for many reasons, but I that you brought up to keep these players in our thoughts and our prayers, and that's kind of I always go back to this. Why Ryan and I started this show is because we wanted just maximum exposure, not for the guy for all players, not just the stars, but those behind the scene players that really make it happen. And, we wanted to be able to just expose all avenues of sports and how hard these kids work for our community.
yeah, Rick, and I think another thing of that to add to what John just said is, and it's not just, it's the coaches too. And what your little quote was kind of talking about was the preparation. And so, the three of us that are sitting here at the table, we know how much effort and time and sweat goes into playing ball. And so we want to showcase all of these kids for the hard work they put in.
Well, and you can't participate and get involved in Rogersville athletics from, I've been involved with the youth football for years and years with Mighty Mites, and then this year with the new academy. And, these kids, I'll tell you, Talbert, his line is they're our kids. Well, they're not just Coach Talbert's kids. They're all our kids. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm standing in my living room the other night, and old Cannon Gibson gives kind of an elbow to old Pinniger, and I'm like, go, baby, go. Because I want to see him succeed so much. It's unbelievable. And just, can't yell for him enough. That's all. So.
Yeah, you do, and I mean, of course, you have a son that plays sports, but you were out there well before he was in the. I mean, in the system. I mean, cheering on these Wildcats.
Yeah, and I think I've told you guys, but we started going to home and away football games when my kids started in school. So I think 13 years we've missed 3 games.
Wow.
Home and away. And so I've watched a bunch of kids go through Rogersville, and to be honest with you, I don't know that I yelled quite like I did this year, but I've done a lot of yelling over the years, and just love encouraging the kids and hope that they understand that. So
yeah, and I know I haven't been out here that long, and I just really I appreciate how hard you cheer for our boys and our girls, and I feel like that's infectious, and others are going to eventually kind of, not that they're not, I'm just saying it's infectious. So keep doing what you're doing, and I personally really appreciate it.
I was going to say that same thing. Ryan copied off me, but I was going to say it's a contagious when you're out there, and because you're yelling not just at touchdowns. I mean,
right.
Rick, you're all over the place with your cheering, and we love it. Yeah. But it is contagious, and that's I was so proud of our community this year, and I really think it's spurred by the Wildcat Academy and the tailgating and all the efforts that group did. But the seats were filled all year, and we didn't even know we were going to have a great year.
Which, I mean, I'm just super excited about what's to come. I mean, this was our first year in that academy setting, and I think next year is going to be even better.
My only complaint, Rick, my only complaint is Ryan and I have drew up several plays for Coach Talbert, and he's never used them.
Well,
so
if you'll pass those my way, I kind of got it in there.
You're gonna put a word in for us.
I'll get them over there and get them in the playbook with them.
Get him to Coach Cam.
We'll go from there. Yeah, we cut his check. So,
well, we appreciate you, my friend, and appreciate you doing the 2-minute drill with us tonight.
That little nugget of wisdom.
What do you got to close with?
Go. I'll just this: love God and love your neighbors.
Amen, brother.
Love it.
All right, dude.
Hey, Rick, we'll talk to you soon.
See you, Rick.
Bye.
What a great fan.
I mean, he could have just said that, and that would have been enough for me.
That was it. I mean, I would have been like,
those are the 2 greatest commandments. I'm pretty sure.
I love it. I love it. Hey, let's think another one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
Rogersville Pharmacy. He's a
great drug dealer.
He's our drug dealer. He's our drug dealer of choice. We love Jim over at Rogersville Pharmacy. And
he called me and left me a message the other day
about drugs.
He personally said my script was ready.
Nice.
It's awesome.
I saw him the other day, and he's out giving shots. He has the little shot dispenser on his belt, and he's out in the cold giving shots to people.
What a trooper.
He's a great guy. So, hey, go visit our friends over at Rogersville Pharmacy.
Yeah, man.
They'll take care of you.
I'm ready for an ice cream float from there.
I know.
And a vaccination.
And
at the same time.
Like a 2 for 1.
I'm ready for COVID shot. Okay, we won't go there.
We're not going there. We're not going to talk about that.
See your face. Hey, real quick, before we move on to our special guest here, this is going to be a great show. I'm excited about it.
It's already a great show.
It's already a great show. Beth Muncie. Oh, where was that? I missed it.
You've had Miss Muncie.
Yeah. Where was her comment?
She taught
though?
white boy.
Let me get their comment back up. She said, "How about some middle school boys basketball action? Dane Smith dunked it during the halftime last week." That's an 8th grader.
What?
Dane Smith dunking. Yeah, I heard a little rumor that Dad said, "If you dunk, I'll give you a certain amount of money."
Oh.
And now Dad's like, "If you dunk in a game, I'll give you a certain amount of money."
Holy
Did you
cow.
ever dunk, John? I have a feeling I know the answer to this. Did
I've
you ever,
dunked
you ever-
all the time.
I've dunked on
Have
the
you
8-foot
dunked?
goal.
on a 10-foot goal?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have you really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's got
Why
wooden
you
tops.
say I can't?
I was making the assumption.
I've not always been like,
Well, I asked you about if you could dunk, and Ryan started laughing. I don't know.
I could dunk. Whatever.
on the 8-foot goal?
I was gonna say some nice stuff about you, but now I don't have anything nice. No,
I
I'm kidding.
figured so.
Hey, I'm excited. Good job, Dane, by the way, on your dunk. As an 8th grader, that's
awesome.
a huge deal. Beth Muncie said it's $100. Is
What
his
Coach
dad-
Dixon say right there? What's he saying?
He said white boy.
Oh, that's my son.
Yeah,
Or me.
you.
I'm not
Yep.
sure.
Guys, I have a special guest. Not only is David a good friend of mine, but I probably bug him more than I need to. We talk a lot about youth sports. I mean, sometimes an hour.
Oh, yeah. Maybe more.
But he's not just a good friend.
I think he kind of played some ball.
I'm saying this legitimately. He may be one of the best athletes to ever come out of the Ozarks.
Wow.
He's not going to tell you this, but I will. He went to Seymour, and we'll still love him, even though he went to Seymour. But almost 3,000 points he scored in high school. His 2 years averaging right at 30 points a game.
Wow.
He also All-State 2 years, All Ozarks, All Ozark Conference, multiple Player of the Year awards, free throw records, 3-point records, 2-point records. That's at Seymour.
So
Okay.
he can shoot?
He can shoot.
Oh, okay.
He's a shooter.
That was what it was better to put it in the air than on the ground.
Amen to
Less
that.
mistakes that way.
Then, not only is that enough for him, he's an All-State. He is All-State golf 3 years and state champion in 2000 in golf, which is to me the hardest sport ever.
Wow.
4-year starter in basketball and golf at SBU, and still to this day holds 3-point records, field goal percentage records, and average 13 points per game.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
About for college, yeah.
So he knows.
I think he can shoot.
And you're also in the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, I am. I got inducted to the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, I guess it was 2 years ago now. It was called the Filbert Five, and they called me, and I thought it was going to be for golf because I thought that's kind of how they knew me through that organization, but it actually inducted me for basketball, which was quite an honor. It's pretty neat. So the Filbert Five, they pick 5 area boys and girls or guys and adults now, and they induct you in and have a little ceremony. It's pretty cool. So.
Well, I only hang around with you because you're an all-star.
I was going to
I thought it was because I always buy your lunch. I thought that's what it was.
You never buy my lunch. I always buy your lunch. You got to hang out with Patrick Mahomes last year, or year before last.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes came to Springfield. I do a lot of charity events. I'm in the auction business and real estate business. And Patrick Mahomes came in for the Boys and Girls Club. It was their steak dinner. And it was actually a really cool time. The year before, Travis Kelce came to town. And Travis Kelce is a hoot. What you see, like all that stuff that he does, that's not for show.
that's him?
That's who he really is. He is just that vibrant. Mahomes was a totally different personality. We had a great time with Mahomes. He came in, and it was actually, there's a cool story I'll tell you later, but he came in right after the Texas Tech played the national championship basketball game. He flew in that night.
I remember that.
I do
So he
too.
was exhausted, but he had a lot of energy. He was a great time. Mahomes is a fantastic guy. He just came off being named MVP that time when he got here, so it was a really cool experience.
That's awesome.
Well, we want to make this a very interactive discussion because 90% of what David and I talk about is who's buying lunch. The other 10%, no, really, honestly, over the last couple of years, you and I have had some very in-depth conversations on youth sports.
Indeed.
And Ryan and I are very passionate about youth sports. And
Yes.
I'd found out you're coaching baseball today.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but
I
awesome.
am.
But I've coached, Caitlin, my oldest daughter. I've coached, some softball, some t-ball, some football, some basketball. All in the youth sports arena. And so you and I talk about that a lot. And I, listening to all your your resume here.
He might have something to add to the conversation.
He might know a little more than I do. So, what I wanted to talk about, and I maybe just I'm going to start off with a question to you, because I know you and I have talked. We've talked about sports being a metaphor for life, and how we want our kids to achieve goals. We want our kids to learn lessons through sports. Are we trying to make them in NBA players or NFL players? No. But I guess it's that push, to teach them those lessons versus, being that parent that's overbearing.
Yeah.
In sports. And so, do you let your kids dictate that, or is there a little bit of push that we should have?
Yeah, and man, when we talked about, I'll go back for just a second, but when you start talking about youth sports, isn't this a huge topic?
It's huge.
Which way do you go on youth sports? I mean, you could take this any avenue. You could make this so big. We could talk for the rest of the night and not even cover it all. So we're going to pick apart a few little pieces of youth sports. I think everybody out there watching or listening needs to understand that this is really, really big. And so as far as my pedigree on it, I have a little bit about me and youth sports. Obviously, I played a lot of youth sports coming up. I have kids now who are in youth sports. But before they were even involved in youth sports, I was really watching it and kind of grading youth sports and watching it turn into what it is now. And it has evolved into something different. If you've been around it for the last 5 years and then 10 years and up to 15, 20, and then beyond that, it has changed. It's been morphing every few years. You're watching this change. So has really anything changed with youth sports? Probably not. The kids are still dribbling the ball, catching a football, whatever it is. The game hasn't changed, but how we approach it is totally different. And so that going forward changes some of the perspective on things we're trying to look for. Kind of answer your question now, one thing that you brought up on a question was about your own daughter, and she loves the game. It's say basketball or any other kid that's out there that loves the game. How far do you push them, right? So they got this kid who loves the game, they're passionate about it. If they're wanting to stay up late and shoot baskets, or they're wanting to stay after practice and they're tired, they are, and they're still wanting to work at it, what do you do, right? That's like the first step of one part that we're discussing here. I think, in my 2 cents, is this is a tough call for me. I let the kid take the lead on this.
Yeah.
I let the kid kind of dictate what the direction is going to be, how much time they're going to put on it. I don't really want to restrain or pull the reins back on any kid who wants to be better or better themselves. And so as a parent, we have this tough call. Well, gosh, we got school tomorrow, or we know they have other responsibilities, but they're wanting to work at something. We're trying to train these kids for life lessons. If they're 25 or 30 years old and they're getting ready to go in a job or profession, and they're out there, they call you and say, hey, mom, dad, or whoever, and they say, hey, listen, I'm going to stay up late and work on my resume. I'm going to work, I try to get ahead. I'm going to take an extra class. I'm going to do something to better myself. What are you going to do as a parent at that situation when they're 30 years old? You're going to say, go for it, son, daughter. Go be the best you can be.
That's a good point.
Spend extra time on your craft and make yourself better. But then we do as a 10-year-old, we're saying, no, you got to come in. So it's a tough balance, and I'm not telling anybody what to do or not do. But gosh, if you have some energy, and kids have energy about something, why would you stop that?
Yeah, you have. I don't want to forget this. I want to bring this up, and this is a conversation him and I had, not even right before Christmas.
Yeah, probably so.
I was in the store buying Alicia Christmas present. I was on my way, but
was it good?
It was pretty good, wasn't it, hun? As a coach, and you'll understand this too because you coach your own kids, that it's that weird feeling of, am I playing my kids because they're my kids, or am I playing them because they're legitimately good? And you had a remedy for me, and I'll spur your memory if you can't remember, because I'm kind of putting you on the spot. But
I probably remember it. Get me started, and I could probably finish it.
Where you have the kids.
Kids? Oh, yeah. So this is, I tell you, for any parent that's out there coaching or is coaching or has been a coach, and we'll talk about this more, I hope, about how to be a good parent. And we were talking about this the other day about how to be the parent that everybody wants to have.
The coach wants.
The coach wants to have you.
Yeah.
You know, how do you be that parent? That's the dream parent. You know, on the kid side though. So how do you how do you remedy some things that, I guess, let me ask you a question. Was it about how to, if you're playing your kid over?
Yeah,
somebody
so
else?
I always, I've in the past, in some instances, I'm like, is my kid on the field or on the court,
Right.
or because I'm the coach,
I'm
or
with
is
you
it
now.
because they earned that?
Yeah, okay. So, way I have told John and told other people to do this, the kids, they kind of know who's good and who's not on the team. And so I had some situations with parents, and I actually had them in the gym, and I said, hey, let's find out. You think your kid's the best, and the kids miraculously figure out who the best is sometimes. So we had an issue with somebody thinking their kid was number 1 or 2, and it's just kind of a conflicting situation. So I just said, hey, come watch this. So we had all the kids. We got 12, 13 kids there. We had 2 kids that, were younger kids, and so we had, however it worked out, those 2 picked the teams. It wasn't, if they were the best, it was going to make sure that they weren't one of those 2 picking teams. And so the kids just picked teams, and their kid got picked 2nd or 3rd from the very last in the group. And so we played a little game, and then we repicked teams again. And then same thing, they picked 2nd or 3rd from last. And now within that, if they lost, they had punishment. They had a suicide, or they had some sort of drill. It was a punishment drill. It wasn't just you got to pick your friend. Like, if you don't win, you're going to be punished by some sort of discipline. And every single time, the kids will kind of pick, like when everything's on the line, the kids will pick who they think is going to win. And so that was kind of the great equalizer on this situation for the parents to go, okay, I'm not picking the teams. No other parents picking the teams. Let's let the kids figure it out. And they do, and they find a way to figure it out.
Pretty sound solution, if you ask me.
Well, that's what I was telling him when he told me. I'm like,
That makes total sense.
It does, because you think back to recess,
Exactly.
And I
Kickball.
remember, kickball or even football, and you thought, of course, you get the 2 best guys. Always say team captains. Okay, so they're the best, whatever. Then you were like, okay, where's my pecking order?
Yeah.
And they know. They're putting you on their team because they want you to contribute and know you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're getting picked last, that's motivation to.
Which leads me right into my question.
I know what it is.
Right into my question. So, David, kind of what you're talking about, how the kids will pick players. You have the ones that are the best, quote unquote, and then the ones that may not have the same skill level just yet. So, in your experience, and I think we've qualified you to answer this question. So, if you can think back or in instances where you've had kids that maybe in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, maybe even a freshman, that aren't that star player, right? My perspective is, if you want to play, then you have to put in the extra work to get on the court, right? And then you have these late bloomers. So can you think of times that you've been in your career, even in college, maybe a freshman or sophomore, that late bloom, and then they turn into these superstars? I think I've seen it happen. I want to hear your perspective and what you might tell those kids that aren't the star right now
Interesting.
in the middle school.
That is a fantastic question. I'm going to try to unload this quickly. So I would first say that I had experiences personally, and I've seen other kids have this personally. When I was young, I guess I could say I was a lot better. I was playing up several grades above me in most sports. And by the time I got to about 6th grade, I had a moment. It was about 5th or 6th grade. A lot of kids caught up to me.
Right.
And then I was still ahead, and I got a little bit further ahead through probably junior high. And then when I got to about 7th or 8th grade again, kids got bigger. They're somebody has that growth spurt where they grow 5 inches over the summer kind of thing. And so kids were catching up to me. And so it bothered me because I was used to what I was used to, right? So then I started working really hard on my game and really focusing in on things I need to focus on to then be better. So yes, everybody needs to understand that you're going to develop at different times and paces than somebody else. You can't just compare yourself to somebody and say, that's the way I'm going to do it, or that's my direction of how this is going to happen. It's not apples to apples. It never is. People are different builds, and there's so many variables, right? So you can't just put everybody in a box like that. So for anybody that's watching this or hearing about what, or I guess the parents or kids alike that are listening to this.
It's for both.
Hey, if you work on your skills and you develop you, the best that you can develop you, and work on all kind of aspects. Work on your mental approach to the game. But mental people really forget that side of it, to have a good mental approach to it. So be ready for adversity. Be ready for the highs and the lows that are coming, so you can just kind of play the middle. Be ready for that mental side, and that's what gets missed. I see so many people, when they get to a certain level of athletic ability, then they lose this mental side.
Yeah.
And it's like the game of golf. I'm a big golfer. They say golf's 90% mental and 10% physical.
I disagree.
I agree.
I got a wicked slice.
but other games are not exempt from being very mental. I mean, football game. How about a quarterback, right?
Right.
They have to learn. Look at all the stuff that they have to know. If they're not in the game mentally, and if they lose focus, or anybody else, I mean, in these positions, if you're not 100% laser focus in basketball, you miss a lot of shots, and you're missing plays and opportunities. Any sport, they're all kind of the same. So that's a big miss for people. Both parents and kids are missing that. So you can develop that even if you're undersized or under anything in that moment. You can always be developing that.
Right.
You can always be developing your skills. Like in basketball, hey, you don't have to be the biggest kid to work on your ball handling or passing
Or shooting.
or anything else. So I was talking to coaches today about undersized kids. Hey, if they would just work on themselves when they get to high school, if they need to gain some weight and strength, they can do it then. But if you come in skilled, ready in any sport, you're ahead of the curve, guaranteed.
Let me ask you this question, and we are gonna let's refine this in the future.
Okay.
Because I mean I'm loving what he's saying, but I feel like we're all over the place. This is we'll narrow it down a little more. I'm like,
but it's a big subject.
It's a big subject, and it I would hope. I mean, we're talking youth sports. We're talking when you start sports to high school, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
That's
think
what I call
Yeah,
it.
that's what I would
I'm
call
the same way. Yep, termed the same way.
I would think everyone that's viewing this right now, this would be a huge topic for them. I mean, because it's something the three of us have talked about. I mean,
Hundreds,
hours and hours,
thousands of hours.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this question, and it's probably one of the end this, but what's the number one detriment to a kid in youth sports?
Oh man, John.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't want to. Man, there's a few things here.
Right.
So it's hard to you're picking one thing, one bad thing, and there could be several. There's a few things, and I'll kind of go through a couple of them. And actually, I wrote some things down, and these were some things that I had that I made notes on. Is there any one thing? Probably not. Let's see if I have this little list here, if I can find it. I wrote some things.
He's pretty put together.
He is very
Yeah. This is just some random stuff, right? So these are like some questions or some things that I talk about, like the uncoachable kid, kids handling adversity, just them handling any kind of adversity, parents coaching from the sidelines. It's an epidemic right now. Buying your way in.
Could be a pandemic.
So people kind of buying their way in. And then parents don't let the game. They don't let them do the game. They're trying to make the game happen for them. Let them be the game in their game and not be something that the parents are pushing or promoting. And then the other thing, this is another one there's all these directions, but kids playing one sport. You have to know me. I'm so passionate about this that I think the burnout side. I hear a lot of these kids burn out. I see a lot of great athletes and players playing one sport, and they're like, "Man, this kid's got a future, right? Oh, they're going to be great." And then you watch it unfold, and they're like, "What happened to him?" Oh, they just fizzled out. And so what happens? Me personally, I think what happens is they've been pushed really hard. Maybe they had their supporting cast that was really pushing them into a corner on this thing, and then they just felt like the only way out was just to quit everything. And that could be it. Or it could be one of those things where they never had something to get out of that with. So, maybe whatever the sport is, if they had something to relieve that from. Think about your job in a real world. Like if you just worked on your job and you did the same thing every single day over and over and over, eventually you're going to kind of say, gosh, I need a break. But if you're just always just pushed into that, especially as a kid, it becomes a little redundant.
Kobe Bryant said it in an HBO documentary that I watched, and he said, they asked him, they're like, when did it become a job? And he said, it became a job in high school. because, and you know this well. I mean, you're the guy that's in there shooting how many free throw or?
Oh, I shot. I mean, I made 275 in a row or 300 in a row.
But
in
I mean,
college.
before school.
I shot probably 500 to 1,000 before school
class.
a day.
Yeah.
I shot about that many after school. I figured up my career. I shot 250,000 more shots than the average player. That's just the average player.
So you've got the work ethic of Kobe Bryant. I mean, Kobe Bryant was, I mean, that's what he's known for.
He's like that too, yeah.
And they asked him, they're like, when did it become a job? And he said, it became a job in high school. You know, so, and that's the other side of it too, is do you enjoy the job then?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because you're talking about I'm with you. I hope my kid doesn't become a one sport athlete. I hope she enjoys all the sports, well-rounded. But, you know, it becomes a job when you're a one sport athlete. And then you got to ask yourself, is this the job I love?
Yeah.
You know.
So I guess the takeaway is then, as a parent or a player, what's our end goal? I mean, if you're not going to make a living from this sport, which very few people, let's be honest, very few people, but all the stuff that the sport teaches you, that's not saying give up on sports or don't do it. All the stuff that the sports teaches, we can't get anywhere else other than in a sport. I mean, I wrote some of those things down. Here, where do you get, where's it at? I'll flip this over. Okay, here we go. In school, we have some of this problem solving, the teamwork, the leadership, leading by example. You know, how about the discipline and adversity? All the things that how do you lead by example in a math class? Not knocking math, we need it, but there's other parts of teaching and schooling that this is what helps us. And so when you're out in the real world, maybe you're running your own business and you go through a rough patch. You know, you've handled some of these things, or maybe you have a team. Maybe you're part of a team and you're leading people. This is what this kind of stuff is going to then, you're going to replicate some of these things that you've learned. And if you haven't learned these kinds of things somewhere along the line, where are you going to pick it up? So you're going out in the real world blind. This is great stuff for the real world.
Yep, totally agree.
You're a wise man.
Totally agree.
I looked at you, but you're a wise. You both of you are.
Well, thanks, Pope.
You know, here's guys. You know, and a lot of people watch this show through the week. So here's an opportunity to ask questions in the thread, even if it's Tuesday or Wednesday and you're watching. One, we can either get them back to David or David can get on there and answer them himself, or I'll let him know there's some questions for him.
Yeah.
Ryan and I haven't talked about this, but I would think we'd agree on this. I would like to do this ever so often, have you on and just.
Yeah, we need to narrow it down a little bit. I think, you know,
kind of had broad
certain subjects.
We had broad strokes tonight.
Yeah, because to David's point, and we've talked about it before, but there's just so many aspects of it. I would say I agree with David in the sense that the youth sports hasn't really changed. It's what, you know, they're throwing balls, they're catching balls, whatever. I do think it's changed a little bit, just with our society and our culture, because I experienced that this past season when I was coaching a soccer team. So anyway, I think it is a little bit different.
It's definitely different. And so I would say try not to get sucked into the commercialization of it as a parent a little bit. So there's, and I'm going to walk a line on this one too, because I'm involved in it, and I pay for my kid to be on a team too, like a lot of, or club teams and what have you. But there's a fine line between throwing money at a kid, and that's going to make him better, versus just getting him out there and play, right? And
Right.
I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
But I want parents and the kids both to be able to get what they need, and sometimes that's not a club team. You know, sometimes you can pay money and go somewhere to a team, and that may not be the best thing for that kid and what the kid really needs. And a lot of schools are really kind of embracing this now. I know Rogersville is, and Marshfield, and other schools in our area are kind of embracing this. Hey, we're going to work on their skills, keep these kids together, and try to kind of grow that program. And so that is an important part of it. Just having kids just playing club ball and traveling. That is a new wave that from our generation, we played on our school team. Right? We played on our third grade team. We played on fourth grade, and so on and so on. And we got to high school, played on high school. And now these kids are playing with whoever, and then they just wind up on the high school team together. So it's lost a different element of the game. What has changed? Has anything really changed? No, they're still putting a ball in a hoop, right? I mean, it's kind of so, but the skill set still needs to be there, and that's what they're kind of missing, I think.
I ask Bella this, and she gets annoyed with me. I don't know why, but I truly ask her this all the time, because I'm trying to rein myself in and check myself, right?
Amen, brother.
But let's talk about our weekend. I hate you. Saturday morning basketball, Saturday night pitching lessons, Sunday morning basketball, right? No, volleyball, and then Saturday or Sunday night tonight we had basketball. And I asked her, I said, "Do you love the game?" You know, and my point behind that is I'll go out and work with you, and we'll do an hour-long session, or we'll go shoot pig. I don't care. I want you to love it, you know. And that's a way I've found I can kind of check myself as a parent, you know, because you do get excited, like, oh, my kid's doing, you know. And I constantly ask her, I want her to do it because she loves it, not because I love it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's a man. Look, a lot of this, as parents and people are watching, the more you're involved in your kid's life, it's the better, right? I mean, that's just a staple of it. So the more you spend, more time you see. And just like a lot of sports, a lot of the reason they're playing that sports is because the parents played it, like it, or whatever. So they are embracing that as well. Right. No matter what the outcome is with them, if they're willing to embrace something and do something, then support them on it. And if they have their own thing, and my kids are kind of going through that, they have their own passions now, things that I'm not even familiar with,
Amen.
And they want to do it, I'm supporting that too. Like I will never take something away from them. And it's always kind of finding that passion, because that is something that's going to follow them for the rest of their life. They got to have that passion in the real world.
Yep. Rick Burney says we need to have you back, and I agree.
I do too.
Definitely have you back. I want to clarify something real quick. You say it's hard to make money in sports, but you make a lot of money in sports. I mean, every time we play golf, I owe you at least $100 or $200.
Not enough, apparently.
He takes it easy on me, folks. He knows I'm poor and can't play golf very well, so you only usually take about $100 or $200 for him.
Is that it?
Yeah.
God, we need to up our ante a little bit.
Yeah, I can't afford it, man. Alicia doesn't let me. That's why I don't play anymore. I lost our mortgage one time to you, and she said no more. So, guys, I appreciate you, David.
Yeah, man.
Good friend, but more importantly, you've been a solid ear, for me at times, and I'm glad you get to meet Ryan, and I'm sure he'll probably pick your brain as well, and I hope our audience does too. Leave a comment for David, ask him a question, and we'll have you back. So.
You bet. It was a good time. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, good.
And this is something. It's a huge topic again, but it's something that everybody needs to embrace. If you have kids, you have grandkids, you have anybody, you're involved in this youth sports deal, and so we gotta do it right. And if all of us are kind of doing it right and how we're approaching this youth sports, and it does go all the way through high school, it is going to make a difference in how these kids come out on the other side of this, which is the most important side.
Totally agree.
Well, Ryan, it is that time, man, for our top 5 list.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I'm curious because you stated it. I'm going to be surprised about your number 1 when you came in.
You have no idea what
I had no idea. So
I'll hide my list from you.
Little B is coming on to. Hey, Little B, are you cold or something, babe? Little. Oh, I didn't. You have a jacket on. I didn't know.
Does she need that Mizzou snuggie?
Take it off.
She says she'll take it off. Hold on. Let's look at what shirt.
The
SB who?
Way to represent. There you go, fella.
Of course, we were just talking about David Cucci being
played at SBU.
He's a star at SBU, and of course we're Drury fans, and
I
so
can tell. Yeah,
Bella
I'll let you be a Drury fan. I mean,
Bella said, "Can I wear my shirt on?" I said, "Oh, you got to do it." So this is her thing, man, not mine.
next time I'm wearing my SBU gear.
Are you? Well, it is time for the top 5, and this week is top 5 NBA coaches. Mm-hmm. So don't look at my list.
I'm not going to look at your list.
What we do, David, is we start with you at number 5, work our way down, and then he'll do
5 and
4.
I just tell you what it is, or
yeah, you just say what your number 5 is.
Okay.
Top 5 NBA coaches all time.
I just say 5. I will say
just number 5.
My honorable mention is Steve Kerr, but I go above that.
Okay.
And then I'm going to my number 5 is Doc Rivers.
Nice.
Not a bad choice.
I got Red Auerbach.
That's who I got.
And he was an honorable mention as well.
Okay. Who do you got, B?
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr. I like that.
We're all kind of in the same.
Yeah.
For me,
what was yours, Ryan?
Red.
Okay.
For me, Kerr hasn't
Been in
gotten
long
enough
enough
experience.
Yeah, not long enough.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you.
So yeah, I got number 5. I'm with Red, and then number 4, I'm going to come back with. I think I'm going Greg Popovich.
Ooh, that's a good one.
He's been around a while. He's excelled. He's won at the highest level.
I got it for Chuck Daly.
Not a bad choice either.
So I I think you cheated off me because I have Popovich as well, Ryan. But the way I came up with him was a little different. But I mean, he has obviously. How do you pick? The top three are pretty tight.
Yeah.
But Popovich has an amazing career. He was a college coach. That's one of the reasons he did make my five-time NBA champ. He's got 5 rings.
He's
Who
good.
do you have at 4?
Lenny Wilkins.
Lenny Wilkins at number 4.
nice.
Good.
That's
So you had Popovich at 4.
I had Popovich at 4.
Who do you have at 3?
I have Pat Riley, which obviously is, he's 72 champ himself, SEC Player of the Year, University of Kentucky grad, 5 champs, 5 rings as well, and all in the 80s and 1 in 06. So he's got a pretty, and he's actually on the Heat. I think he's one of the owners now of the Heat or manager. What is he? Something on the Heat.
I don't know, but his hair is slick.
He's still got a head of hair.
Who do you have at 3?
Chuck Daly.
She's got Chuck
Chuck
Daly.
Daly,
That's
good
a good choice.
Yep.
I'm going to go with David's pick, and
We can't all have the same number
I have
3.
at number 3 Pat Riley for all the basketball
cheated off
reasons.
me.
No, I didn't cheat. But more importantly, you stole my thunder because of the hair. He has the prettiest slicked back hair ever.
He does.
Even at his age now, it still looks good.
I wish I had hair like that.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to lose all mine.
Yeah, number 3. Mine's the same.
Oh,
You guys stole my
you got
stuff.
Pat Riley?
Yeah,
No
Pat
way.
Riley.
Well, geniuses here.
Coming back at you, number 2. I might surprise a few folks with this number 2 pick. Phil Jackson's number 2.
Oh.
Whoa.
How dare
Who
you.
could be number 1?
Yeah, I got Popovich at number 2. Who do you got, B?
Pat Riley.
There
Pat
you go.
Riley.
That's good. I put Larry Brown. Now, Larry Brown was one of the only coaches, if not the only coach, to win at both the NCAA and the NBA.
Yeah.
And so I kind of have a thing for the NCAA. Like if you were there and had a good success, I cut you some slack. So that's why it wasn't just off rings. I put it off. He had a great career. His coaching style was a very good coaching style. He won with the Pistons. He had a KU win in '88, Pistons in '04. Great guy. He was a great coach. So that's my number 2.
Yeah, at 1, I got Phil Jackson. You're number 1. I skipped right over you.
Come on.
Sorry.
Well, you stole my thunder.
It's-
Don't listen to John.
It's my
I
first
said
week
it
doing
first.
this. It's my first
I
week
had
doing
Phil
this show.
Jackson. Okay, I had Phil Jackson before John did. I want everybody to know that out there. Obviously, Phil Jackson's resume doesn't need any explanation, does it? I mean, this guy has 13 combined championships. What more do you need to know about
It's
a guy?
not as good as my number 1.
Yeah, not only does it 13 combined, but 2 of those, was it 2 or 1 as a player?
One, I think he had one as
One as a player.
No, he had 2 as a player
Okay.
in the 70s, 70 and
Yeah.
70 something.
As a Nick.
Yeah, and then he played, and they had 89 to 98. He was with the Bulls. He won
yeah.
6 rings. If I'm
Pretty easy to do with Michael Jordan.
Obviously,
Yeah.
him and Pippen, obviously, was pretty good. And then they go to L.A. Of course, he had another stack to load there from 99 to 04. He wins several, and or he's 99 to 2011 or ish. But he won another. He had an unreal 5 more championships at L.A. Combined 13 total with his own. Man, gosh.
And I'll tell you, I got Phil Jackson at 1 since I already said
You already
it.
said that.
He's a hippie.
Follow
I
me.
mean, the dude. I mean, he truly is a modern day hippie. If you ever get to read some background stuff, you'll find him in overalls and no shirt. I just
want to know how he was mad. Like you just never saw the guy mad. Like you knew he was mad, but you just didn't show
Yeah.
it. He sat there. It was impressive.
Who do you got?
And how
Ryan?
he managed all those personalities.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
I mean, how do you do
That's
that?
unreal.
Kobe and Shaq and Mike Jordan. And
So as good as Phil Jackson was, he still is not as good as my number 1 pick, who was Baker Mayfield. I mean,
Yes!
Baker Mayfield is the starting quarterback.
You're a
at
suck up.
OU.
You gotta be
a
I mean,
suck
he
up.
Oh my
dominated
gosh,
the
Ryan.
game. He goes out. He goes to the Browns, takes them to the playoffs. So I think
Who
the
did they
number
lose to?
1.
They lost to somebody. Who was
the
that
nu-
team?
yeah,
what are they
the
called?
Chefs.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's
for
close.
me, my number 1 NBA coach of all time is Baker Mayfield.
I have to agree. I don't know why I didn't think of that either. The dude can do anything, and I think that's what you're saying.
I mean, he
is
makes commercials.
He doesn't even play in the NBA, but he could.
Did I miss the memo about
So-
NBA and NFL or something? I missed that.
Little B, who do you got your number 1?
Phil Jackson.
She is her mama's daughter.
Smart. I like
so
that girl.
You knew she'd have Phil Jackson. Guys, that's it. I love you. Hey, you didn't surprise me at all because Baker Mayfield.
He could do anything.
It's like in that Friday Night Lights when Boogie Miles' grandpa's. He can run, he can pass, he can catch, he can kick.
Yep, it's Baker.
Mayfield could be in there
He
for
can coach
sure.
in the
He may be
NBA
a better
too.
actor than quarterback, but who's to say? I don't know. I mean, he's.
Well, guys, say goodbye to David because he will never be back on the show. No, we want to thank you, my friend, once again for being on here. You've been a good friend of ours for years, but I've enjoyed our talks over the last couple of years on youth sports. I think this is something we can do quite often. So
I feel like we need an applause.
yeah, I don't know which one's the applause
I
button.
think it's that one.
Keep hitting him until.
Yeah, there you go. Applause.
I got nothing. I can't even hear it.
Okay. Well,
Crap,
hold on.
Still can't hear it.
You should be able to now.
There we go.
Nice.
Okay, that's it, man. Guys, thanks for viewing. We will be back next Saturday.
Correct.
Because
we
we're
got a Super Bowl on Sunday.
and we're going to do a Super Bowl show Saturday.
We're going to get analytical, folks.
and we're going to get crazy.
We're breaking down why we're picking,
Who we're
Who
picking.
He gonna pick. He goes. Spoiler
I can't
alert?
tell you.
Can't tell you, man. You got to tune in next year.
No spoiler alert. So, guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
See y'all.